I recently played Cronos: The New Dawn. It's a sci-fi horror game that has gripping characters, horrific monsters, and time travel. This game was really good. I really enjoyed my time with it. I played it for like 20 hours, and I just wanted to make a video talking about it. So join me as I talk about Cronos: The New Dawn. This game is from a company called Bloober Team, and I played a little game they did called The Medium in 2021. I thought it was good. It had great graphics and atmosphere, but I wasn't really hooked from the story or the puzzles. I remember I didn't finish it. I put it down about halfway through. But then I played another game they did called Silent Hill 2 Remake in 2024, and that game was amazing. It was excellent. I never played the original Silent Hill 2, so when I did play this, it definitely made me a fan of the franchise. I loved that game. The survival horror elements to that game are very good, and it made me excited for Cronos when I heard about it. This discussion is going to have some mild spoilers in it, so if you don't want to be spoiled, I recommend playing the game first and then coming back. But they're only going to be light spoilers. I won't show any gameplay footage from later in the game, and I won't tell any secrets from the main story that will give away the ending or anything. After playing Cronos: The New Dawn, I'm happy to report that this game checks all the boxes for me. Punishing combat encounters that act like puzzles, and grueling survival horror elements, along with interesting world to explore and story to uncover. It definitely lived up to expectations for me. Personally, it's what I like in a video game, and I'm happy to report that this game, if you like survival horror, this game will be a good one for you to check out. The world is completely destroyed by some kind of plague. You play as the Traveler, a protagonist that has no backstory. You don't know where you're from or why you're there, but you're dropped into this world, and you have this mystery. This is exactly what I like in these types of games. If you're worried that your questions won't be answered by the end of the game, don't worry. Most of the questions will be answered by the end of the game, but some of them will be left open. That's okay, because I feel like they did wrap up the story enough. As the world lay in ruin, you're sort of left to figure out what happened. Your job as the Traveler is to look for clues and find targets, because you're not only a traveler, you're a time traveler, and you're looking for people to extract, and these extractions will help you piece together or solve the puzzle of what happened and why this plague is the way it is. So you're a time traveler going back in time to find targets. That's the main thesis of the game. Each target has been selected by some kind of supercomputer that is giving you orders. The world is covered in a thick, slimy biomass. The monsters that inhabit the world were once people, but now they have turned into these gross, twisted creatures. If you like body horror, this game will be for you, because there is a lot of gross, slimy, mucus-covered things in this game. The writing in this game is excellent. The story is mostly told through audio logs and writings that you find in the world. There are cutscenes as well, but I found myself actively engaged in reading and listening to all the lore drops left throughout, like sprinkled throughout the world, and that's pretty unusual for me, because a lot of times in games I get bored really easy and I don't read all the writings. But in this game, I found myself actively wanting to read more and interested in what they were trying to tell me, the story they were trying to tell. Now, I didn't always like the direction the story went, but I did find myself actively wondering what was going to happen, and after it was over and I reflected on it a bit, I actually like it a bit better now. It's very character focused, very character driven. In the moment, in the time when I first played it, this didn't really make sense to me, or I didn't understand why it was going this way. But after reflecting on it a bit, I think I like the character-driven aspect more because the world and the setting is not over-explained. They don't bog you down in too much scientific detail and fact, and it's more of a background to the actual story that's going on that involves these characters. Each character you meet is like a piece of a puzzle, and when you extract them, they give you an ability, but you can only hold a certain amount of abilities at a time, so you have to kind of choose which ability you think is better for your gameplay. Plus there's cats, lots and lots of cats. There is a creepy vibe here that's executed so well, and when it all comes together, the story, the gameplay, the music, it really enhances the experience. It's really executed well. And it's not my favorite story in a video game, but I really liked it. Now let's talk about the gameplay. Like a lot of survival horror games, animal economy is super important in this game, and you are scraping by on barely enough resources to survive. Healing items and ammo are scarce. You will get through like most combat encounters with barely anything left, and it's designed that way, and it's executed well. If you don't like backtracking to save points or to look for more secrets and ammo, then this game will probably drive you nuts because that's all you're doing in it. You're expected to save up enough ammo and healing items for the next combat encounter. The Traveler is wearing a big heavy suit as well, which makes movement slow and clunky. And you sort of progress through the world slow and clunky, looking and uncovering and exploring, trying to find secrets. And this is what makes this genre of video game so fun for me. Searching every nook and cranny, exploring, looking, trying to uncover the mysteries, as well as getting more powerful as I go, finding upgrades and such. That's what I love about it. Leveling up weapons and armor feels good. I never felt like I was getting less powerful or weaker. Every time I upgrade, I continually felt like I was getting more powerful, but the enemies also never felt too easy to defeat, which is a tricky balance to pull off, so the progression felt good. I also found myself debating a lot which upgrade to unlock next, because there are a lot of options to upgrade. You can upgrade your suit, your weapons, and you have multiple weapons to choose from, and different weapons are good for different types of enemies. So it really made me stop and think about which weapon I wanted to unlock or upgrade next. Also, what is tricky to pull off and what they did here is each boss fight feels finely tuned. It always feels challenging and difficult, but it never feels too challenging where I grew to resent it or not like it. So I always enjoyed playing against the boss. And you know, it usually just took me a few tries of dying, 1 or 2 or 3 times, and then I learned the necessary movements or mechanics, and then I was able to come back and beat it without an issue. The last boss is the only boss where I think it took me like a whole day to actually defeat him, but you know, when I finally defeat the final boss, I felt a great sense of accomplishment. In fact, the game feels finely tuned. There's a lot to pick up in the world, including ammo, health items. There's stuff called energy, which is like your currency in the game, what you use to upgrade your equipment. And there are lots of valuable items to find and sell, and explosive devices to craft and sell. There's also crafting in the game, which makes it really fun because you can buy items, sell items, or you can craft them with materials that you find in the world, which makes exploration really fun because you constantly have to search through the world to find the materials to craft new items. just like a lot of survival horror games, your storage space is very limited. So you need to make a decision on what you want to carry with you. And a lot of times you'll be running back to the save area to switch out items because maybe you want to try a different method in a particular combat scenario. So it makes it really tense and enjoyable to kind of plan your route and your missions accordingly. The enemies in this game are tough to kill. The game emphasizes burning the bodies of dead enemies so that the alive enemies can't merge with them and become more powerful. So you're constantly running around trying to burn the bodies of dead enemies as well as kill all the alive enemies that are chasing you. So it makes it really interesting, and each combat scenario is like a little mini puzzle in itself. Learning the enemy patterns and the different types of weapons that are better for different enemies makes each enemy encounter feel unique and different. They never feel repetitive or boring. Several times I had to relearn or replay enemy encounters after I learned the patterns of the enemies to try to save a particular type of ammo or something like that. This type of deep thinking in the gameplay helps me become immersed in the game. The exploration was also really enjoyable in this game, and the amount of times you have to run back through the level to find something or to do a secret that you didn't know before makes it really fun. You get to know the environment really well, and you can tell that the developers spent a lot of time crafting each environment, each little area of the game. And you run through each area, you kind of get to know them over time. They become memorable in your mind, and you kind of know the layouts and you appreciate, or at least I did, appreciate all the little details that go into making the world really unique and interesting. But it's not what any of these gameplay elements does on their own that make this game great. It's more like these elements, how they interact with each other, that make it great. Because, for example, the crafting is enhanced by enhances the exploration, right? So like, for example, the need to craft items, you're running around the world looking for items because you need to craft something, but that enhances the exploration because it gives you the need to run around and search all the little areas of the game. And so all these different gameplay elements come together and interact with each other really enhances the experience and adds to the overall fun of the game. I did wish there were a few more side quests or secrets to find in the game. Sometimes I felt like the secrets were pretty sparse. Most secrets or side quests only ended up leading to an extra room or something with a few extra supplies in it. But, sometimes I wish that there was a little bit more there in the side quest area. Next, let's talk about the visuals and the sound. The sound effects were really good. I love the music in this game. It has this whole retro 80s synth pop vibe, 1980s Poland, Iron Curtain kind of aesthetic. So you got the red kind of tones and the synth pop mixing well with the gray undertones from like the Poland era, the 1980s Poland era. It really does a lot for the ambiance of the game. The game nailed the cool factor because when you're walking through this dystopian world and you have the flashing red lights and the music playing, you kind of feel cool and it feels badass. It feels like a underground punk rock club from the 1980s. The sound effects were also well executed in this game. The enemy sounds were really dynamic, so I could always tell what direction to look next because the enemies were coming from multiple directions and I could hear them, so I could turn and face the next enemy. And the weapon reloading sound effects were really good because I always enjoyed reloading my weapons. I like the little clicks and sound effects from that, so I thought the sound effects were really good. I thought the voice acting was an interesting choice. The main character, you do have a voice. I think all the voice actors did a good job and are really convincing. The graphics were equally fascinating, very good. There were basically three main types of areas in the game. You have your biomass, like gross, disgusting plague areas. Then you have your dystopian landscape of like busted out buildings and broken down concrete and stuff. And then you also have your like futuristic tech aesthetic, which is like metal and pipes and futuristic equipment, and all three of these look different and unique, and then they kind of blend together and meld together to make an interesting and dynamic universe. The game's color palette is really good, I think. It has a lot of grays, but there are pops of color. There are pops of red and blue that really add to the color palette. The atmosphere creates a vibe that the player really feels cool existing in. The creature design is horrific. If you like body horror, like I said, the creature design is menacing. The creatures definitely look scary, the bosses especially. They all feel unique and terrifying, and there definitely is a lot of enemy variety, I think, in the game. So the enemies never feel too repetitive or boring. And just like any other survival horror game, the player progresses to different areas, the hospital level, the steelworks level, etc. And so there is a lot of variety in the game in that respect. So none of the areas feel overly repetitive or boring as you go through the game. Also, all the separate area worlds have a bridge that connects them, so there's all that unique and interesting exploration. Cronos: The New Dawn is a game worth playing. A survival horror game that adds all kinds of different elements that feel like survival horror. It feels familiar, but it's unique enough to keep you engaged. The story, the music, the graphics, and the gameplay all mesh together well. The graphics keep the game interesting to look at, the music will keep the player listening, and the gameplay will keep the player playing. In my 20-hour playthrough, I really enjoyed my time with it. The game never felt too hard or too boring to keep going. It actually felt very well paced and drip-fed me just enough story to make me want to progress to the next level. I never encountered any crashes or bugs, and I played on a PS5. There were many memorable enemy encounters and locations in the game to explore. Each enemy encounter felt unique, like its own puzzle. The progression in the game was also very enjoyable. I could feel my character getting more powerful with each upgrade, while never actually feeling like the enemies were getting too easy to defeat. The world felt scary and interesting to explore. I really enjoyed everything this game had to offer. So if you're thinking about playing this game, I recommend it. It's a good one to try out. So those are my thoughts on Cronos: The New Dawn. I hope you enjoyed. I plan on doing more video game content in the future, so if you like it, please subscribe and look out for more channel stuff to come.